Greetings, loyal subscribers and honoured guests. It's time for part 2 of 4 of my June pickups today. We might get a visit from Teddy, my cat, as he's running around today. I go to London 2 days a week now, Tuesday and Wednesday, and whenever I get back the day after, he's acts a bit crazy because he hasn't seen me for most of the time. So yeah, he's running around, lots of energy, quite happy, I think. Yeah, I've got 10 more games to show you today. I've got the rest of the Switch stuff that I picked up, and then 2 more Evercade collections came in, and then I've got 2 more DS games. So let's get started with the Switch stuff first. First of all is new Pokemon Snap, and I have not had the opportunity to try this game at all yet, but let's just switch over. Yeah, so I've only played the original Pokemon Snap a little bit on the N64. I did have the cartridge. I haven't got it very anymore, but I never really got into it much. I'm not a huge Pokemon fan at all, to be honest, but I do like the look of this sequel. It's been sort of expanded quite a bit over the original, which was a bit sparse really in the amount of stuff to do. But now you replay the stages at different times of day and take different routes and trigger different Pokemon in different ways, as far as I understand it. So, and you're sort of given missions, I think, but as I say, I haven't played it yet, so I could be making this up, but I think that's my understanding of this new one. And yeah, it looks really nice. I've got nothing against Pokemon really as a concept. It's just as RPGs, the traditional series, I find them too grindy and repetitive. And that's speaking as someone who's really fond of traditional JRPGs. So they're a bit too light on the story really, and yeah, too much repetitive battling. But anyway, this one looks cool, so that's that. I've got Teddy with me. You can just see his head. He's purring away. So game number 2 he's quite interested, is Yoshi's Crafted World. Oh, off he goes. Yeah, so this one is the sequel to Woolly World, which was on the Wii U and the 3DS. It's more of the same, really, I think. But instead of the sort of wool aesthetic, it's more sort of paper craft and that sort of thing. Yoshi himself is still the wool version of Yoshi, but everything else, yeah, is more sort of arts and crafts style to it. And it's not a game I've played just yet. Now you can just see the side of my cat. Excuse me, Teddy, please. If he moves out of the way. The next game is Splatoon 2. So let's get that going. Now, like Pokemon Snap, the Splatoon series is not something that instantly grabbed me. I have tried Splatoon 1, but the single player mode wasn't that interesting, I found, and I'm really not into competitive multiplayer online games, so that side of it didn't interest me, and I ended up trading it in not too long after buying it and trying it. But so it's taken me this long to actually try Splatoon 2, but this time it's got quite an extensive single player mode, and there's also the Octo expansion, which I would have to pay more for if I wanted to play that. So I'll make my mind up about that later. But it's also got a horde mode, which I do enjoy. I much prefer sort of joining up with friends or other people online and fighting against AI versus competing against each other. So I'll probably check out the horde mode for a bit, but that's the third of the 6 games that I haven't had time to try yet, but the rest of the games here I have played for a bit, so I'll be able to talk more about them. But yeah, I think Splatoon 3 isn't too far away, so maybe this game hasn't got too much longer online. Anyway, I don't know if they keep the servers up. Well, they probably do, but I expect most of the online players will move over to the new game once that's out. So maybe I should, if I do want to check out the Horde mode, maybe I should do that sooner rather than later, and then do the single player afterwards. Like I say, I'm not bothered about the competitive modes, but I know plenty of people are fans of it, and it's one of the better examples of using gyro to aim that is out there. So, of course, the original Splatoon did originate on the Wii U again, but it's been much more successful on the Switch. So, anyway, let's move on to the next thing. So the next one I have dabbled with a little bit, but not on the Switch. I've played a bit of this on Game Pass on the Xbox, and I also played the demo of it last year when all the demos came out. Sort of summer last year, I think it was. I cut myself off there. I was saying could even have been the year before last when I played the demo. But anyway, this is a sort of gorgeous looking Ultra HD RPG by a Western studio, I believe it is. And as you can see, it's got really nice HD graphics. And the hook with this one is that, as it's saying there, you can shift between 3 time periods within the battles, or also within the story it happens, I think. But in terms of game mechanics, the actual combat is reminiscent of stuff like Paper Mario, where it is turn-based, but you do have to press the button to react and either do more damage or defend against attacks by pressing the button at the right time. I haven't got stuck in properly with this one. It was a game that intrigued me when I played the demo, but there was also a few things that annoyed me a little bit, but that could have just been the demo version, and so I'll see how I get on with the full one when I have time to play it properly. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. So the penultimate Switch game is Sonic Forces, and I've spent a few hours with this one, and I was expecting bad things from this, really, and it's been fine so far, but I'm only a few hours into it. Let's have a look. So the big hook about Sonic Forces is that very shortly into the game, Sonic is defeated. You think he's died, but of course he's actually fine. He's just been injured and gone off and recovered a bit. But anyway, you end up being asked to create your own sort of Sonic-esque animal character, and then for some of the levels you play as this avatar that you've created, and I've created a cat based on Teddy, but I couldn't choose his exact markings or colour, which was a bit of a shame. But anyway, yeah, so you alternate between this avatar character you've created. There's the character creator right there, and you also play as classic Sonic and modern Sonic. So the movesets are slightly different, like they were in Sonic Generations. So I think this is the game that came out right after Generations, so it does sort of build on the stuff from that game, and that was one of the better Sonic games. I have heard there are issues with some of the gameplay in this, but like I say, I haven't really seen any of the bad stuff yet. And I think it looks really nice and runs quite well on the Switch. I don't have any issue with the performance or anything. So I don't really see why it was so sort of considered to be mediocre at the time. yet, but I'm sure I'll get to the bad stuff if I keep playing. So anyway, oh, Shadow's in it. Enough said. That's the bad stuff right there. But yeah, there's the sort of generation style level. New playable Shadow. Okay. Episode Shadow add-on download for free. Okay, at least it's free. Anyway, let's move on to the last Switch game. So the final Switch game for June is not one that came from CEX. This was actually a brand new release that came through the post about a week ago now. And this is Snow Brothers Nick and Tom Special. So let's have a look at that. Snow Brothers was a old arcade game, which I think it was released by... Oh, it says Toplan there. I thought it was Jalico for some reason. But anyway, yeah, Toplan is the company who put it out. And this is a modern day remake where they've redone the graphics in HD. That's what it looked like in the arcade originally. I did play this game, but for a very limited period of time. I went on holiday somewhere, I think it was France, with my mum, and I didn't go with any friends, and there weren't really many other kids there, and although I think I had my Game Boy with me because I took that everywhere with me, the only game they had really at this holiday park was this one Snow Brothers arcade machine and a pinball table, I think, in down where the sort of washing machines and cafeteria and stuff was. So I used to wander down there once a day, I think, with some money that my mum would have given me, and either play Snow Brothers for about an hour, or I would play the pinball machine, or both, a little bit of both. So yeah, but aside from that holiday, that's really the only time I ever got to play Snow Brothers. But it did come out on the NES, I think, so most people probably know it from there. And it was supposed to come out on the Amiga, but I don't think that version was ever officially released, but it is out there to download. But anyway, they've added, I think, another 30 floors and 3 more bosses on top of the original game. And they've added a whole load of different modes and options to this. So yeah, it's basically the gameplay is very similar to Bubble Bobble, except instead of trapping monsters in bubbles, you're trapping them in snowballs, as you can see, and then rolling the snowballs into the other enemies, or smacking the bosses with them. So it's a single screen sort of platformer game for 1 or 2 players. It's much more fun if you can find someone else to play it with, as are all these games in this sort of style. So this there's an awful lot of sort of modern remakes of old classic games coming out at the moment, and this is one of the better efforts. I think you'll see some more in my upcoming videos. I've got another one to show you in the next part, and then next month's pickup videos there'll be another one. So there's lots of these old games being resurrected and given a fresh lick of paint, and I'm all for it personally, but I know some probably won't be keen on rehashing old stuff. But that's the last of the Switch games, so let's move on to everything else now. So now 2 more DS games, and this is the final part of my Final Fantasy collection that was missing. And this is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time. I had this on the Wii already, but I didn't have the DS version. And it was the one remaining Final Fantasy game I needed on the DS, so now I have it. So let's have a look at that. So yeah, there've been quite a few games in the Crystal Chronicles sub-series of Final Fantasy now, and I think this was the second one on the DS after Ring of Fates. And the big thing about this one is they'd made this Pollux engine where the same game could run on the DS and the Wii, and then you could play the two versions together. One person could play on a DS and connect to someone on the Wii, but over Wi-Fi, which was cool. That I don't know if that functionality is still available. Maybe over Wii, whatever it's called, the unofficial Wi-Fi connection that somebody's set up. Maybe that will work, but I haven't tried it. I'd imagine you can do at least local wireless play with someone in the same room, so I might try that. But yeah, these are quite nice looking sort of action games. It wasn't particularly impressive for a Wii game because, of course, it is at heart a DS game, just running on the Wii. But so yeah, it's better played on the DS, if you ask me. But yeah, these are good fun in co-op. Slightly less fun alone. But let's move on to the other. So the other thing for the DS is Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, because I also wanted to try and finish off my Dragon Quest collection for the DS, and I think this is actually the last Western released Dragon Quest that I've got, but well, no, PAL released Dragon Quest, but there's some other ones that I'm probably not going to be able to get because they're just stupidly expensive, but I'll start the trailer and then I'll tell you about them in a minute. So this is Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, and this is less your traditional Dragon Quest sort of story-based game. And this is something more similar to Pokemon, where you add the monsters to your party and collect them. And but yeah, it was the first the first DS Dragon Quest that was in proper 3D, I think. So that was a big deal at the time. There's been lots of 3D handheld DS games now, and so this isn't my favourite by far of any of the Dragon Quests on the DS, but I wanted to try and round out the collection. But like I said, there's also Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime, which didn't come out in PAL, I think, and I have looked it up to try and get that one as well, but it's going for about 200 quid, so I don't think that's going to be possible. And then there was Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime 2 and 3, but I don't think they came out anywhere other than Japan, and those are also ridiculously expensive. So I don't think I'll be adding any of the Heroes sub-series to my collection, which is a shame, but it's not the end of the world. I've still got the actual Dragon Quest games that I care about, which are 4, 5 and 6 and 9, 7 and 8 on the 3DS. So that's most of the Dragon Quests taken care of. I'm not going to let this trailer play all the way through. Let's just get on with the Evercade stuff now. Yeah, so 2 more Evercade collections have just dropped. So the first one is cartridge number 25, and that is the Morph Cat Games collection. It says there are 3 games on there, but really there's 5, because there's let me see. The stuff fell out. There's Micro Mages. There's Micro Mages Second Quest, which they don't include as part of the 3 games. There's a game called Bubble. There's Space Gulls, and then there's something called Bat Puncher or something like that. Anyway, let's run the trailer and then we'll talk more. Yeah, so here's the trailer for Morph Cat, and all of these games in this collection are sort of 2D NES level platformers, and they're really good actually. I had a lot of fun just checking this cartridge out for an hour or so. And the big thing about Micro Mages that you can see here is it's possible for 4 people to play all at once. And yeah, you've got to get to the top of these towers, and the tower keeps scrolling up based on whoever is closer to the top. And yeah, you can kill all the enemies and collect gems and stuff for a higher score. And yeah, you've just got to navigate your way from the bottom to the top across about 20 levels, I think. There are boss battles, but obviously with that little ghost guy. And yeah, so you have to sort of work together and not let anyone get dragged off the screen. And then second quest is more of the same, really. Let me see if I can scrub through a little bit. No, we've skipped it now. I think second quest is later actually in the video, but here's Bubble, B umlaut O B L from 2020, and this is sort of a Metroidvania-esque platformer where you control a bubble and you have to hold the button to make yourself sink in water and then sort of use your momentum to jump. And much like Metroid, you find these orbs around which give you new abilities as you collect them and let you explore further. Yeah, and these bells are checkpoints, so it's got the potential to get quite frustrating if you keep popping your bubble, but I think there is a sort of easy casual mode that you can set it to. But it's quite good by the look of it. I think it's fairly short, really. I expect most of these games are a bit on the shorter side, but these cartridges are not too expensive to begin with, so I'm not that bothered about the games being short. Let's scrabble forward. Right. Here is Space Gulls, which is another platformer where you're this little space gull, and you press the button to flap, much like something like Joust or Flappy Bird. And it's a sort of, it reminds me of Mega Man in the level layout and some of the graphics as well. And you just have to flap your way around and get to the end and defeat the bosses. And it's really cool. I like this a lot. So yeah, this is a good cartridge. One of the better collections for quite some time, I think. And here's, what is this called? Super Bat Puncher Demo. So yeah, this is technically a demo because they never finished it, but there's quite a lot of game here as I understand it, and it can also be played in co-op with someone controlling a little bird. Yeah, and you do punch a lot of bats. It's the first thing that this studio ever made, I think, and yeah, and it was never released or finished, but it's very polished and worth a look. And then I'm guessing Micromage's, there it is, Micromage's second quest. So this is basically more of the same. It's just new levels for Micromages, but other than the stages being different, it's basically the same, just more of the same. So yeah, that's the Morph Cat collection. So let's switch back to me for a second. And then the last thing today is the Intellivision Collection 2. So let's launch the trailer. I'm not going to play the whole trailer for this one because for some reason it's almost 10 minutes long. So I'm not going to sit here for 10 minutes and talk about this, but I was quite looking forward to this after Intellivision Collection 1 because I enjoyed that first collection, especially Thunder Castle, but this second collection has some issues, and that's the controls mainly. These games can be a bit of a bugger to control, really, and I haven't checked all of them out yet. I have played this one, and actually this is one of the more enjoyable games on the collection, I think, and it's quite a deep RPG for the system, really. Let's see. I haven't tried that one. That's sort of buggy racing. I can't remember what it's called now. There's a skiing game. Yeah. Star Strike. Not familiar with that one. Motocross. That's more of an isometric racing games. I thought I really would enjoy these racing games, but I've tried one of them, and the controls were god awful. But maybe if I give it another go and there are other controller options, I'll try those. This game looks like a fairly enjoyable sort of shooting gallery game. I do need to try that one. Othello or Reversi or whatever it's called. Yeah, this was the one I tried. Stadium Mud Buggies, because it sounded fun, but the controls were just awful. But I think there's a lot of modes in there. That's Tug of War, so I'll give it another chance. I haven't really delved deep into this collection at all yet, so yeah. I'm not sure what that is. Super Pro Decathlon, not really into those mashy button games. I don't know what that one is, but Cloudy Mountain, that's another RPG. I tried this one as well and the controls were weird and I kept on running out of arrows and getting myself killed. So anyway, yeah, that's the Intellivision Collection 2. I know there's quite a lot of a stigma around the Intellivision brand now due to the whole Amico debacle, but I still am quite interested in playing some of these classic games because I completely missed them at the time, and television wasn't really a thing in the UK so much, so I never got a chance to check any of these out. So I am interested in these collections as long as the controls are good, and so yeah, I'm not sure about this one yet. So there we go, that's another part done, another 10 games shown off. Next week I think I'm going to do a PlayStation focused part, so that'll be out the same time next Sunday. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, take care.